Here with Marc Laimon, coach of the Ultimate Fighter TV show and leader of the Cobra Kai in Las Vegas. Mr. Marc, how many guys you got coming down here for the AGGRO tournament?
15 to 25.
15 to 25.
Depending on if guys can get off for work or not. But
tell us a little bit about your competitors, who you're going to put in the absolute, and specifically, do you have guys in mind to battle some of the guys from Mica's club that's coming down?
Yeah, I'll take any of those Mica matchups first round. We'll see what happens. And my best guys couldn't make it up. A lot of them had to work this weekend, and other of them had children that were born to them, so they were a little preoccupied with some other life's issues. But I still got a strong team, and they should do fairly well. Okay. So it should be entertaining.
We do have some Abu Dhabi competitors, UFC competitors. One guy from Pride. Most people feel Jeff Monson's the favorite. What have you heard about other people in the tournament, and who do you see as the favorite for the absolute?
I'd have to say Monson's the favorite. He's probably the most accomplished American grappler actively competing or of all time. You know, he's won everything, and I think he's the man to beat, but anything can happen, so it should be an entertaining tournament.
We're trying to get a super fight with you and Mica. He pulled out of an MMA fight here with Justin Ellison because of a knee injury. If he ever becomes healthy and can do a super match, are you up for that?
Yeah, I'll fight him under any rules, gi, no gi, doesn't matter to me. I don't care if we do a match where if I don't tap him, he wins. I can be winning 30-0, and if I don't tap him, he wins the match. I don't care if you make it a 4-minute match because it won't take that long. I guarantee a submission, and I'll do that. And I'm always injured too, and I'll do that completely injured. I don't care.
What about, there are people, Marc, in Las Vegas who believe that there have been times in competitions where, on the competition circuit, they believe that you've ducked Mica and not
competed. That's a lie. I've tried to fight him for many years, and he's always had excuses. And, you know, my students always beat his students. Okay. I will beat him easily.
If a super match becomes available with another grappler of your caliber, you want to come do the super fight with us?
Like I said, I'm injured, but you know, I'll take that fight with Mica, even though I am injured. And this injury really limits my ability to train. But this guy's talked a lot, says I haven't accomplished anything. But you can go on the CBJJ website and see that I have won the Pan Ams. You won't see Mica's name there. And he says he was voted the most technical fighter in 1999 by the CBJJ. There's no such thing as that exists. You know, it's a lot of fabrication that he makes up, and I think he tries to sell his students a bunch of lies. You know, I tell my students I'm not the greatest, jiu-jitsu guy in the world. I'm all right. I'm honest with my students. I don't try and lie and have a cult-like following. You know, I just speak the truth. You can see that, I've beaten a lot of guys. I've won the Pan Ams. I've taken bronze twice in the Pan Ams. I've also won Grapplers Quest West. I beat some pretty big names in that. Mica says I haven't done anything. I don't think he's done anything. He says he's had 4 fights, but you go to SureDog, you can't find his name on there. So to me, that sounds a little suspect if you're claiming fights, but you can't verify them.
So, other questions for you, just rapid fire. Best grappler in the world currently right now competing?
Best grappler competing? I'll probably Marcelo Garcia.
What about the best grappler of all time in your belief?
Best grappler of all time? That's tough to say. It's definitely not a Gracie, I'll tell you that, because they never compete with anybody, except for the Gracies that really.
What do you say to people like Rickson Gracie has a pretty tremendous sport jiu-jitsu record?
Does he?
Yeah.
What match? What has he won?
I don't know. You can look it up on.
Has he ever won the World Championships? Has he ever won the Pan Ams?
I don't know. You can look up his record.
It's in 1987 when there weren't that many guys competing and the level of jiu-jitsu was a lot lower. So
you think that
would be brainwashed by the political view of that?
You believe that the best grapplers out there right now, or he's no longer competitive in that league, is what you're saying?
He'd lose if he fought. He fought the World Championships. He'd lose if he fought Abu Dhabi. He'd lose if he fought Pan Ams. He'd lose if he fought Grapplers Quest. He'd probably lose. Just by saying that you were good back, 20 some odd years ago, 30 years ago, that doesn't mean anything. This is a sport. It evolves. Just like guys in football can't play from the guys today would crush the guys from 30 years ago. Okay. Same thing in boxing.
In the world of we're talking about world-class grapplers. Where does Marc Laimon fit in that? How do you see yourself? Do you consider yourself among the elite guys in the world right now?
I'm a guy who's all right at jiu-jitsu. I studied a lot, and I think I'm a better teacher. And I think my students show that. We're the only team to ever win Grapplers Quest 4 years in a row. And in my school, only been around for 2.5 years. There's schools in Vegas that have been around for over 10 years that have not been able to accomplish that same feat. And I just think it's because we have a good attitude, we have a good work ethic, we got a lot of good guys that work out in the gym, and we don't have anybody believing that I'm God's gift to grappling. You know, I'm just a guy who knows a little bit more than my students, and I help them to achieve higher levels in jiu-jitsu. And you know, that's what it's
there was
about.
a statement made, an interview was done a while ago with Mica, where he said that you know, there's a reason that you went to MMA and that he would want to do an MMA match with you. Is there anything that could ever make you do an MMA match, or is
I'm
that?
not a fighter. I have no desire to fight. I play video games and do jiu-jitsu. You know, training for fights, work. I don't want to do that type of hard work. Striking really doesn't, you know, doesn't really interest me. You know, but I'm sure Mica's saying that because he knows I don't fight. But you know, he says he's a great gi fighter. You know, I'm pretty decent in the gi. I'll tap him in the gi. I'll tap him no gi. I'll tap him under any rules. Orion Gracie rules, Grappler Scouts rules, Pan Am rules, CBJJ. He picks it. I'll beat him. Like I said, if he wants to do a match where the only way I can win is by submission, I'll take that match.
There's a lot of people out there in the jiu-jitsu world, Mark, that are under the impression that you guys, your school and you specifically, have kind of moved away from the gi or abandoned the gi. Is that a misperception? How do you see the gi in terms of training, its importance, its lack of importance, or how do you see the gi?
Well, you know, a lot of people don't do their research. We have gi classes every day at Cobra Kai, and I still train in the gi. I like the gi. I think it's very beneficial for your training. It helps your no gi, and you know, people just want to believe these things because it's hip to hate on the people who are winning. You know, people only dislike me and my school because we do well in tournaments, and we don't settle for the BS politics that a lot of people just, you know, silently let happen to them. I don't care what your last name is, whether it's Gracie, Glover, Laimon, or Holt. You play by the same rules, and that's all I want is a level playing ground for all people. I think that's all you can ask for as a competitor, and that's all I want as a coach, a level playing field.
Cool. Hey, as a promoter, we appreciate you coming out and supporting the sport of grappling, and look forward to seeing your guys. We'll catch you after the tournament.
Thank you.
All right. You guys are good interviews, man.